for August 6, 2025. Board introductions, please.
Lisa LaRue, planning board member.
John DeLeo, Chair.
Rick Lyles, Vice Chair.
Mike Hangy, member. Mark Ravane, member.
Matt Uchier, member.
Now, Matt Within's not here. Tonight you'll be voting.
Did my seat just get hotter?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes, it did. Staff introductions.
Sarah Devlin, Deputy City Manager.
Brittany Morales, planning department.
Robert Grant, Code Enforcement Officer.
Thomas Gannon, Fire Inspector.
Andrew, Deputy Code Officer.
Thank you. Item number 2, preliminary plan review of a major use site development and a new or existing subdivision entitled Nova Plaza for applicant owner J.C. Cowboys Realty LLC. The proposal is to construct a 2-story mixed-use building with 4 commercial units on the first floor and 3 residential units on the second floor, and a standalone observation platform. The property is approximately 1.49 acre lot located at 99 Bangor Road, tax map 59, lot 50, in an urban zoning district. Is there someone here representing J.C. Cowboys Realty?
Yes. And actually, the developer and owner of JC Cowboys is here with us on Zoom. I know he'd like to open up the
Welcome, Mr. Tan.
presentation.
Are you Toby?
Hello,
I'm
hello
not,
everyone.
right.
Thank you.
Nice to see everyone again.
So just to be clear, no, I am not Toby. I'm Robert Frank. Toby is on vacation this week, so he owes me an ice cream after this evening. I
Okay.
suspect.
Oh, more than that, I'm sure.
Probably more than that.
The floor is all yours.
All right. All right, Tommy, go ahead.
It depends on how you do today, Rob.
I suppose. I'm a little rusty.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tommy Tran. I am the developer for the Nova Plaza. I am extremely excited to be here with you all. I know that I had an opportunity to visit or meet with some of you guys at an earlier time. Just a little bit about myself. I had came to Ellsworth to visit some family member that have moved to Ellsworth, and had a chance to meet the local as well as see some of the things that were happening in Ellsworth. I went to the church there, and I really fell in love with the city. I think it has a great potential, and I love what's happening to that city. It's very, very beautiful, and we'd like to contribute and be a part of this growing excitement here in Ellsworth. I named basically, I'm creating this plaza here to be, to also help with the economic situation with Ellsworth, to help and contribute. I named the plaza Nova after my daughter, so we're definitely in this for the long run, and we want to be a part of this community.
Great. Thank you, Tommy. So would you like me to roll right through just a quick rundown, and then you'll grill me with answers? That's how it usually works, right?
Take as much time as you need to
All right.
tell us all about it.
Well, that happened, didn't it? All right. So this is Nova Plaza. Backing up again, my name is Robert Frank. I'm actually a professional engineer and senior principal at WBRC in Bangor, Maine. I'm here on behalf of Toby Mishu, who, aforementioned, is on vacation this week. So I'm actually the project executive. He's the engineer, and David Woodward was the project manager and landscape architect that put the packet together. And I heard some folks mentioning next time they'd like to work in a binder, so we'll make sure that happens next time, so you don't have to do it on your own at home.
That would be very much appreciated.
I'll skip over the general note sheet. So the project, this is the existing boundary and topo survey. Currently, the property has 2 structures, a single-family home and a single-family mobile home. Both of those, this is the removals plan. The areas that are hatched are shown to be within the tree removal limit. The dark gray area is the removal of existing drive and parking, and the 2 structures are also to be removed. The layout plan, which you have in your set sheet CP 101, shows the new the proposed development structure. It's a 6,928 square foot footprint. It's 2 stories. The first floor is about 5,313 square feet of retail, combined with 1,315 square feet of what we're calling or classifying as fast casual restaurant. That designation is very specific due to the traffic generation. We have to stay within those parameters. There's also an egress stairwell, and then the second floor has 3 fairly comfortable residential units, and that puts the total gross square footage at 11,630 square feet. There are outdoor patios on the ground level, as you can see. You see if the pointer works here, over in this area to the right, or the southeast corner. And then on the rooftop, there are actually rooftop patios and deck for the 3 units. They are serviced by the single stair, and there's a connecting corridor on that second level. The front cover sheet of our application does have a conceptual rendering of what it would look like from the main drag. We do have 2 entrances. One is limited to right turn entrance only. It does allow circulation around the building for deliveries, access, as well as fire. We did provide 2 turning movement diagrams that show that both your ladder and engine do fit around the building for life safety and fire access. The proposal really is to get folks in, get them parked, and enter the building, and then employees are generally expected to park in the back, service and deliveries in the back. The bottom right corner shows a small observatory platform. The view is probably not as important as its purpose, which will be to allow folks to do their social media snapshots, et cetera, as they arrive in Ellsworth. It does have a view in the fall of the railroad and the trestle, et cetera, that our client has found quite interesting in the corner, and we think that'll be an added amenity to the property. We did include a grading plan that shows existing and proposed contours. Generally speaking, the drainage patterns it basically flows in all 4 directions, or all 3 directions. We're a triangular shaped parcel here. We have designed with roof drip filters, as well as under-drained edge filters on parking. Runoff will continue to go in the same 3 directions, and our post-development runoff is just slightly below pre-existing conditions. This is the utility plan. We are showing municipal water connection that includes domestic and sprinkler. We are proposing a new hydrant due to the distance away from the next nearest adjacent hydrant at over 500 feet. It's about 630. So immediately as you turn into the property, if you were responding, chief and crew would be able to pull on the hydrant just near the right turn entrance only into the property. We also have, we do have capacity to serve letters from the water district as well as the sanitary. The sanitary will be a force main tie-in. We will have a private pump station on the property that will tie into the main that's out in Bangor Road. Other utilities include on-site propane, which will have an underground feed to the building. We do have grease traps for the fast casual restaurant as required by code, and the rest of it is tied in a traditional sense with sewer exiting out the front into that private pump station. Other than that, there is a culvert crossing, and we did provide lighting isometrics in the set for the on-site lighting, all of which have either cutoffs or downward facing fixtures. And I believe the cut sheets were provided as well in the packet. From a planting perspective, which is here, we do have 2 buffer requirements. One is a parking area buffer. We've provided I don't know if I can zoom in here. We'll try it without blowing up the screen. So the parking buffer, you can see the requirements for 7 trees and 54 shrubs. We've provided we're proposing that required amount. And on the rear and side buffer, which is to the west, residential abutter, we have 7 trees and 27 shrubs, which exceeds the minimum requirement of 5 and 15. And the rest are ornamental plantings, and in and amongst the property interior as well as in the curbed islands in the parking lot. The remainder, we are taking advantage of the remaining tree line in the rear. Again, it's a very tight parcel, a difficult parcel from its shape. We were able to get this put in here, and we'll be retaining any tree line or buffer that is not impacted by development. In your packet, you do have pre and post runoff diagrams. This is the pre-development plan. And you can see the sub areas that essentially go off in all 3 directions. And here again in the post, the same is true. And there are a full printout of the HydroCAD calcs in your packet that show the pre and post runoff meeting the pre-existing condition. These 2 diagrams, CP 201 and 2, are this is the ladder truck turning exhibit that shows the ability of fire to get around the building. And here is the engine 7. And then finally, this is the lighting isometric sheet that shows property lines are respected for glare or lighting runoff. The minimum max ratios are all met, and the property is well lit. We also have building mount and ground mounted lights, pedestrian scale in and around the building to complement the parking lighting. And the only lighting that goes over is at the entrance, which is to highlight the incoming turning movements, and that will slightly go into the Bangor Road right of way to cover that intersection. In your packet, just to clarify, this is a minor developmental subdivision. It's actually 4 units. This is the this is the 4th floor, the 4 retail spaces on the 1st floor, all retail, and with the fast casual, I believe, targeted for tenant space number 4. You can see the egress stair to the right. And then this is the upper level. These are the 3 units that are proposed on the 2nd floor of the residential. It's our understanding that tonight is a preliminary review, and we'll consider the completeness of the application. We intend to complete design drawings after formal approval, which we would anticipate to happen after approval of the preliminary set, and understand that we may need to create Mylars for your signature and delivery to the registry. Those may be based on these conceptual plans, and if changed when we finalize, we would expect to update those in the registry. But we would anticipate that at the subsequent meeting, that would be the de facto subdivision plan, if you will, that would require your signature for going through the major site plan review. And I think that's it for drawings. And I know we'll be running down through the completeness of the application. I don't know if you want me to just kind of touch on the highlights of the review criteria, or if you wanted to deliberate those and then ask questions as we go. What would you prefer, Chair?
Well, I think we'll go right to questions,
Okay.
unless there's something else you...
Nope, nope. I think we've provided all the questions with all the highlighted answers in the packet, so hopefully the questions will be able to be infilled.
Questions from the board?
Aren't you gonna go first?
Well, you can go.
I can go?
Yeah,
You sure?
sure.
Okay. It's some traffic-oriented questions. You depend a lot on pass-by traffic using the facility, which, I get that, right? It's a major tourist route. Is there any allowance or, anything that takes into account the fact that people with RVs might want to be stopping here on the way out of town or anything like that? It is a major tourist route. There's a lot of RVs, and they stop at a lot of different places. And this looks pretty tight to me, and I was just wondering what happens when an RV pulls in and, you know, in that right turn in thing?
Right. We don't have designated right. If they are exiting, they'd certainly be able to follow the travel path that the fire apparatus would go. There is room in the back to pull out of the way in front of employee parking, maybe for a quick stay, but having faced the same issue back many, many years ago, when we did the DOT rest areas, not knowing what ratios would go in there, it's tough to calculate that, so.
Right.
We did not specifically designate RV spaces, but they can encircle the building.
Is there room, or is there room or a possibility of doing that? I mean, in the end, I mean, who knows how many will
Sure.
actually stop?
Yeah, I think the only place for a pullover would be similar to any national fast food chain that doesn't have designated spaces. Usually in the rear of the building, there's extra width. In the rear of this building, we do have probably 3 travel lane equivalents to the rear where the employee parking are, where you can see the turning radius that a larger vehicle or 2 or possibly 3 could pull out of the way without impeding
Well, there are
traffic.
those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, whatever spaces back there which are,
Employee, yeah.
those are gonna be all employees?
Employee.
Because those, I mean, those look like they would be space enough for an RV or whatever.
Yeah, or either perpendicular in front, or we might be able to extend the length of 1 or 2 of those to accommodate that.
Yeah. It would be good if there was some sign indicating that, I would think.
Even if it was just a temporary pullover area, noting that the employees are not coming and going, and they'd have that opportunity
Something like that,
to
sure.
queue up over there. Yep, well put.
The in and out entrance exit at the left side of the drawing here. 1 lane in, 1 lane out.
Correct.
Have you given any thought to the need possibly for a right turn lane and a left
Yes,
turn lane coming
not,
out?
not allowed. No, we ran this with,
The
with-
state
with-
doesn't allow
With
it?
Sewell Company and the type of entrance we have, we fought for more entry, and we were, given the location, the site distances, were kind of pushed back to a tighter, given the fact that you can encircle the building. People can queue up exiting out, the exiting traffic will back up on the property, which is our problem.
no, I get that,
But it's not
right,
a
for sure.
DOT problem, and so,
Well, it's only a problem if in fact, I mean, it's a problem, you know, if in fact there's some sort of impact on the street itself, you know,
Right.
people not being able to get in and
Correct.
slowing down or whatever. And the left turns coming out are especially problematic in terms of
yes,
queuing and
Always.
whatever.
yes,
Well, you know, always in general.
Always.
But here in specific, right?
right.
If you try to go in and out some of the, like, Friends and Family, which is a grocery store on down the street here,
Yep.
you know, it has 3 lanes, and it's getting out of there and going across
Right.
is rough.
That is, it's a great location, but
So who
sometimes the
said
great.
said it wasn't
So
allowed?
if you look in the traffic section in our application, you'll see dialogue related to the high accident location analysis, the turning, and we spent quite a bit of time with Diane Morabito at Sewell Company to come up with this current configuration.
Okay, I didn't, and you know, I didn't remember seeing anything about 2 exiting lanes, though. Is that?
You probably didn't see those in the packet because they never made it before your eyes.
Ah,
We were,
okay.
we were curtailed to what's currently on the application.
I don't know why you would be prohibited to do that.
Number of entrants and confusion at the entrance. Right now, we have a right turn entry that allows traffic to move in from westbound traffic. And it's not ironic, it's interesting to see that in the traffic counts, I think they were 2018, they're not present day, but the morning peak and the evening peak are almost identical, and they're quite high, as you have experienced.
Boy, you know, we've had 2 lanes out at other places. That we're not allowed, it doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess I'd like to see
confused too, 'cause I
some
mean,
discussion of that out
Sure,
in the open somewhere.
yep, we can see if we
At
can pull
least.
that out of the narrative, yeah.
Because I believe, I mean, in your packet, I mean, MDOT has basically turned this over to the city as far as approving the
Curb cuts.
entrance because it's in the urban compact. I believe I read that.
So what's happened is that they did not assume jurisdiction due to the traffic count, so it did not require a full traffic movement permit. So at this point, it is the board's jurisdiction on approval, but I'd have to go into the packet here. The discussion about traffic movement permit, we did have correspondence from DOT. They approved the current configuration, if you will. There was no mention of improving it with additional exit only. And again, that's a condition that would favor the applicant for sure, but it would not jeopardize the pass-by traffic, which is their concern. They're really looking at what's happening on the pass-by lanes.
Wow.
I guess,
I mean, anytime we've done, when we did the Bangor Mall back in the day, the traffic backs up on site, not on the perimeter.
Well, one of the problems though is if that entrance gets tied up at all with stuff like that, then you have vehicles that are going, towards Ellsworth that want to turn left, and they're literally turning left from a traffic lane. I mean, not a center left or anything like that.
That's correct.
And so it does really impact, what else is going on in that street at
Well,
that point.
but there is an exit and enter on the west side, so there should not be any impediment to folks turning left into the project other than waiting for breaks in traffic.
Well, unless they decide on their own to say, well, I'm going to make this a left turn lane, and I'm tired waiting or whatever. I mean, this is a high traffic area with a lot of crashes and so
Yeah.
forth at the intersections. And I'm really concerned that this might be just another one, just another location with a problem, which impacts you for sure, or the developer, but it also impacts whoever else. So I guess I'd like, at a minimum, to see some documentation of why you can't do that.
Okay.
And
I should say why it's
you're right.
can't or discouraged. We didn't push the issue. We were carefully putting this together to minimize the traffic counts for the size of the development. So I'm comfortable with the layout as is our traffic consultant. We'd like to proceed with it as is.
Well, I would like to see personally, some definition of why you can't do that.
I don't think it's the case that they can't do it, they fight this way.
I
I guess I would
Yeah,
ask,
if we can certainly talk about widening the intersection, that would require an island and like a shopping center entrance. But if you look at the configuration of this site, it's not a standard parking lot where you're feeding from both sides. Most of it is circulating around the building and queuing up, not just at the exiting lane, but also up to the west side of the building.
So you think that most of the vehicles that turn in on the right turn in lane only will go behind the building as opposed to going to the front parking lot in front?
It's possible. I mean,
Oh, sure, it's
they can
possible.
also turn, they should have time to deaccelerate and get into the parking in the front. Again, it's all, without knowing exactly which businesses might locate here, it's hard to predict the actual peak nature of that, but.
So Rick, can you just repeat exactly what it is that you're looking for?
Personally, I would have thought that 2 lanes out, a right turn lane, a left turn out, would have been preferable to 1 exiting lane.
On the east side,
West side.
the west side, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
yes, west side.
So basically,
Yes.
he's requesting a shopping center style enter-exit on the west, and we can look into that.
For example, I mean, there are all going back to Friends and Family, which is just down the road a little bit, has left turn out and right turn out. I mean, they have those kinds of lanes along here, those kinds of configurations.
they probably have a higher traffic count. I think it's kind of,
May well,
yeah.
that would
But I
be
understand, yeah.
justification.
And I mean, I guess, were those required as part of their permit, or
I
were
have
those
no-
informally made? Because
I
they
have-
kind of feel
Well,
a
they
little
have
informally
really
made.
huge,
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
really huge curb
They have an
cuts.
enormous curb cut
Right.
opening there that it kind of
But I'm
lends
just,
to that.
you
Yeah.
basically implied that, I think, that was required by somebody, and I was just trying to figure out who that somebody might be.
Yeah, I think just the justification of
Sure.
why you went forward with this design, or a
Right.
little bit, a little bit more background about why, you went forward with this design and what the
Right.
downsides as you
I'll
kind of
talk to
pointed out.
David. I know that when we looked at it, you certainly have a situation here where right now you have two for exiting traffic, which that is the only exit. We have traffic coming from the rear to the west and from the east from the parking lot. And right now, they're both queuing up for a single exit lane. So there's a sense of stewardship, if you will, as folks exit, maybe to take turns. If we have crossovers, if we have folks that are coming from the west trying to get to the eastbound exit and the right, and you've got crossover, it gets confusing pretty quick. We don't have a long throat on this entrance to allow people to queue up, and they're coming from two directions, and now they're trying to hit two lanes as opposed to just waiting and weaving into one exit lane. Again, we understand, what just happened? We understand the backup will occur on our property, but that typically is a necessary evil of being in a great location.
Maybe, yeah. The site distance of 450 feet, and it looks like it goes just to kind of the tip of the parcel. Can you actually see, I mean, there may be well more than 450 feet, which would be a good thing.
Yeah, I know that was done with someone standing there at the 10-foot setback looking at a 3-foot height down the road. So I did not personally do that.
Yeah.
That
So
estimate.
my question is it just that 450 feet is the tip of the parcel and that was convenient? Or is the actual available site distance longer than 450? Because 450 was for roughly 45 miles an hour.
Right.
And again, my problem here is that, you know, the speed limit is one thing, and prevailing speeds on these roads is something else. And if you know, for example, that the 85th percentile speed is 50, then the site distance, you know, for a good design would be, you know, 500 feet.
I
But you
know-
may have that, is my point.
Right. I know that it's at least 450. I don't know if they looked past that, but they showed that it met the standard for the posted limit, which is the standard we have to meet. I understand what you're saying about driver behavior. When we do schools, we presume that they're going 35 through the zone, not 55, and we assume that the local PD is perhaps
And schools are
adjusting
often
the
on
behavior.
residential streets and
Yeah.
not major thoroughfares coming in from wherever.
Rob, on the site distance, I would ask though, I mean, this sheet lists 450 feet to the left of the two-way entrance and 450 feet to the left of the one-way entrance. But now, and you have two entrances, so you have to deal with site distances from both. I mean, our standards would be 400 feet site distance in each direction. Is there 400 feet site distance, you know, to the south of the right turn? I mean, it just kind of indicates the 450-foot site distance is to the left of each one of these driveways on this site map.
It's say, on the site map, it says 450 this way, 450 that way.
Yeah, it shows in both directions, I believe. It shows meeting or exceeding 450 in both, does it not?
Right there, yeah. Middle of that driveway. And you know, I'm not arguing that there's 450 feet. You know, my question is there more? Because, you know, the prevailing speeds imply that you might want more.
Unfortunately,
But
I
he
don't
can-
know that we can make them do that.
Right.
I mean,
I
our
mean-
standards call for 400 feet.
Yeah, we
It's
can
a
only, we can only ask him to do what is required. If
Okay.
we're not enforcing it, I mean, he can't plan for speeders. He can
Yeah.
only plan for the posted limit.
Yeah,
True enough.
we can't make them, we can't make everybody go the speed
And
limit.
that is a serious drawback in terms of good design about how these things work.
I think you also may find that DOT site distance standards are less than ours.
Not.
I'm not
only-
sure about the 40 mile an hour.
Only at the lower levels, like 25 or something.
That's lower at 55. They don't require 550 feet.
No?
No.
Okay, sorry. I think you referred to it as a monument sign at the entrance. Is that something that you're gonna block site distance, or is it designed in such a way that you can still see?
So we haven't submitted the design for that. It will meet the Ellsworth sign standards. It can't exceed the height, but typically those are on two pedestals. They'll have usually the business names on them, and the maximum area will basically like a shopping
So
center.
literally you
You'll-
might be able to see
You'll
underneath
see
the
below
sign?
and underneath, yes. And I believe it'll be set back from the property line to be about equivalent to 20 feet from the travel lane at its midpoint, which is behind the driver's site.
If the, if indeed you use or take advantage of the spaces in the back for RVs, you might want to have a sign out at the, where it comes in that says RV.
Correct.
Parking back there or whatever. Let's see. And the the difference between fast casual and fast food is the absence of a,
You're sitting down, you're not driving up.
okay, the drive-up window.
That's right.
Is the point, okay.
I was wondering that myself.
A fast casual requires more,
What's that?
a fast casual requires more parking spaces than just a regular restaurant.
Than a fast food restaurant? Oh, good. So that means they're meeting a higher standard. I'm
Like a
I'm good with
Chipotle.
that.
Thought you'd like that.
It's like a Chipotle.
Yeah, right. Is there any problem, and I know very little about what we require with lighting, to be truthful. Is there any problem with the lighting that might be useful because of, the restaurant and the commercial uses and so forth, interfering with the residential uses? Because we have a whole bunch of stuff about, you can't shine lights on adjacent residential properties and stuff. But when the residences are literally in the same building, what happens to lighting then? Do we know? Anybody?
We're not going to blind our residents with.
Yeah, that's what, well, that would
lighting.
be the clue, right?
Tommy probably wouldn't buy my ice cream if I did that.
Well, damn, okay, you don't want to get in the way of that.
I believe the lighting in the packet is all, it all points down, it's not gonna project onto the second floor, it's all supposed
Okay.
to point down, as I reviewed it, that's,
That was a good answer.
With dark skies, we're not able to point things
Yeah.
up,
yeah. That's, dark sky, that's from my opinion, I couldn't remember what it was, but yeah, that's what it is, dark sky.
Okay, all right. And tell me again about the treatment or lack of treatment of the wetlands. I mean, there are a couple little wetlands there supposedly.
So we are under the threshold for a tier permit, but we are going to be filing an advisory and there are 3 small wetlands on the property and 2 we just can't, we looked at alternatives we can't avoid. The square footage of that impact, I believe, is in the packet.
So that's a state regulation, right?
State, but we don't hit the Army Corps jurisdiction. There were no vernal pools.
Right.
It's not a wetland of special significance. Moist Environmental did the work for that.
So it doesn't sound like it's actually a wetland.
There are 3 isolated pockets that are technically forested wetland pockets, but they don't hit a size that
They don't seem to be
triggers
wetlands.
a permit that we're concerned about. But we will be filing advisory opinions after this meeting.
With the
just
state.
With the state and for stormwater, just so that it runs in parallel to your presumed final review, so they all kind of come online at once.
Okay,
We were just wanting to have tonight's meeting in case there were any changes. I will note that if we do, we're at 2 spaces more than required for parking, and it was very difficult to get the parking in here. If we do widen that entrance with an island and another lane, that would presumably eliminate 2 parking spaces, and we'd be down to exactly the amount required, unless we can slide the entrance further to the west. I do believe there are utility poles and wetland impact there that's pushed us where we are, but we will take a hard look at your entrance request.
okay,
I know that we were struggling to meet the standard for parking here.
right. Let me see. That's a wetland. On the trip generation stuff, without, and I had marked here somewhere, but there's, you're talking about the peak hour of the generator. And it would be good, the way you've presented it, okay, is fine. At the same time, the peak hour of the generator, in terms of the time of day, may not be the same for the restaurant and the other things.
Well, that is the point at which she analyzed the traffic.
Yes,
right?
but the thing is, just you've taken, which is a good thing, actually, that
Yeah.
you've taken a worst-case scenario, and you've said that the peak hours of these different generators do line up, and they actually probably don't. But because of the way you've done it, it's a maximum here and a maximum here, and you've added them together, and you've said, okay, this is how many vehicles there are, so you've taken a worst-case scenario. So the point is that they probably should mention that in the write-up.
I know that we were, again, Diane followed the required standard for DOT for that. And I know that when we hit 97, we were concerned it was close to 100, so we did actually send her analysis.
I guess the other question is, in terms of the 97, it is rather close to 100, and, you're putting a lot of faith in the accuracy of these models, right?
And that's why we did send it to John
I know,
Terrio at
right.
DOT, and he's
Which I thought, what would you, had he said, oh, no, you need one, how does the packet change if you have to do that?
I mean,
What other
it
information?
requires a full traffic movement permit at that point,
And
which may be a deal killer. I mean,
traffic
the-
counts and so forth?
Yep, I mean,
Okay.
development costs at risk are a real thing, so it adds to the risk that our developer faces. So again, this project was designed to minimize that risk, so it's not only for approval process, but for improvements that would be needed if, for instance, if we had proposed I'm not gonna say the name of a coffee shop, but that was not in the cards. That would have automatically triggered a full movement permit, and that's why.
Because it would generate more
And that's
traffic.
usually why it's only the chains that can afford to do that, not the local coffee shops.
Okay.
In fact, I think they even know by name which coffee you mentioned. They'll tell you how many trips you're probably gonna have,
Well, if the coffee shops can tell you that if they're,
right?
if they have their act together. Go ahead, moving on, Don.
Okay, I'll go back to the landscaping. I mean, it looks like, you had a really good landscaping plan, just be cognizant of the fact. And it looks like it was far enough away from the entrances not to impact sight distance, which is just make sure as trees, shrubs grow, it doesn't interfere with sight distance. I don't know, 'cause, you do have quite a bit of trees and shrubs. I don't know how tall those get.
We put in the most appropriate planning we can for the designated location, although I will say I've driven by houses that have foundation plantings that are eclipsing the eave height of a roof after 70 years, but they will, knowing Tommy and his crew, this will be impeccably maintained if it's built.
Okay, appreciate it. Now, so you have the roof garden on the resident, on both sides, you have a roof access on both sides. I mean, are those strictly for the
Tenants.
residential tenants?
That's right. And the one in the front is more of just a roof garden, a living roof, if you will. It's more for softening the view across the parking lot. You're gonna basically see a zero edge. It'll be plantings and you're not gonna see below. That's why the units are set back. In the back, it's actually an occupied space that'll look back over the wooded area.
On the front side, it's open all the way across, so, tenants could actually sit out there.
Not on the
front.
roof. No, there's, it's more like a garden level where you have, more like a windowsill height where you're looking out across that higher. They are unable to get onto the roof in the front other than for maintenance.
And they have their own little
There's
patio
that,
on the
right, there's that
backside.
common connecting corridor that will benefit from the view over that living roof. I think it shows, the rendering does kind of show it a little bit better, that shows the height of that with respect to the openings.
On the backside, on the riverside,
That's,
they have their own
that's a walkout, yep, they each have their own.
patio.
Yep.
You can't go from one patio to another. On the, I don't know if you want to call it the north side of the front side, there's an enclosed portion of that roof garden. It looks like it's enclosed. On the, looking at it from the road, be the left, extreme left.
It's more like a sunroom, maybe?
Yeah, sunroom.
Oh, right, yeah, that's actually like a community space. They can use it for, whatever. It's a, Tommy, what was your thought for that community space? I know you described it's a nice, it was a leftover space.
Like, that space on the far left would be like a office space or a meeting room, in case, staff and I need to discuss things, and a little bit more like private, room for us.
All right. And would you expect, or the observation platform, would you think anybody would grab a meal and go up there to eat? Or,
That is more reserved for, the apartments, on top.
No, I think you
Most
mean
likely-
the platform, the platform, the standalone observatory to the southeast, the one overlooking the trestle.
the,
That's the one you're referring to?
yeah, the observation platform.
Yeah,
Just put-
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, an observation platform, yes, that's where basically for the general public, to, take pictures, as well as we're gonna put signs up, in terms of, Nova Plaza, Ellsworth and whatnot. That's for, a little bit more of the marketing side, to get people to post on social media. My wife thought it would be a great idea because this will, obviously help promote Ellsworth as well as our plaza, get the name out there so that people, can, come and visit. We're thinking maybe perhaps planting, some fruit trees and things that sort like that, so that people can, have a little place so that they can take some selfies.
But, Mr. Tran, I mean, you wouldn't expect people to, I mean, you wouldn't be putting chairs and tables there for people to get something from your restaurant, go out there and eat?
I wasn't planning on that because we do have some, tables and desks, I believe, on the, side of the building, that they were gonna have a place for them to eat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you actually see people coming to this development to take advantage of the observation deck and by itself?
I mean, as a sole attraction?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised for oftentimes as many people that stop on or near the bridge in the fall to take pictures. I wouldn't be surprised.
I know that, some of you lived there for a very long time and maybe perhaps these are people that perhaps are traveling far from the city or, different places. So for them, when I went there and I saw the train and then the train track as well as, the foliage and then the trees and the rivers, I thought it was so beautiful, and I took a whole bunch of pictures, right? And I think that sometimes if you live in an area so long that you forget how beautiful it is. So I think the observation deck is just an opportunity for people to maybe perhaps stretch their legs as well as take some photos and share with their friends that they're heading to, let's say, Bar Harbor or Arcadia Park, but along the way they went to this beautiful plaza and they had a fresh bite to eat, and look how beautiful it is. So that was the original idea, that it's an area that people can kind of rest and then kind of just showcase a little bit of the beauty of Ellsworth.
Shop and eat.
But those people would be using other things on the site, though.
Hopefully. That-
Because otherwise, you have another generator there that you have not accounted for,
That's
just
right.
with a loaded question, so, just so you know.
Is this a covered
Yeah.
platform, the observation
It
platform?
does have a roof, yes.
Does that roof, so is it 20 feet to the top of the roof or 20 feet to the floor?
It would have to meet the height limit, but I believe we show one set of stair landings, so it looks like it's about 12 feet
12 feet
to
off,
the
okay.
platform, and then you'd have the roof above.
Are there reserved spaces, parking spaces for for the residents?
Uh,
Or,
They're not designated, but again, the parking to the rear is employee and would be, my presumption would be they'd be designated. We haven't talked about that assignment specifically, no.
okay.
But the combination of all the uses met the, I think the standard, the requirement was 44 and they have 46 for
Correct.
all the commercial
Yeah,
uses
But if you have,
and the residential.
if you have residences that don't have a marked parking space, you could run into a situation where they have nowhere to park because,
They're filled.
you know, the parking spaces are filled, or they've got all their groceries and they've got to park on the far end and then walk all the way around. So that might be something to
We'll probably
consider.
designate
to-
those.
To help the residents and the workers be able to function. And how many employees are supposed to be generated with this? Like 2 per store, maybe?
I think it's at.
And then 1.5 for the residences, I think they calculated 1.5, so like 7, 8.
Yeah, look at the parking generation here. So for the tenants and the retail, we have 20, and then there's another 19 for, so for the retail spaces, there's 39, and then the multifamilies, there's 1.5 per unit, so there's 5 rather,
Yeah, and there's only, what, 7 in the back?
right?
So they could be,
They'll have 2 employees out back if every tenant takes their assigned space.
yeah, that could be problematic just for them, for the convenience of the people trying to utilize the building, that they're not frustrated because the parking lot's
Right.
full.
And they may be one and the same if they don't want to travel far for work.
There you go.
Well, you view the residents, I'm sorry, yeah, is this kind of like worker housing? Or they're?
It's market
just
rate, yeah,
market
it's
rate?
market rate, yeah.
Anything else, Lisa?
Oh, I got a whole list. I was hoping you guys were, you're killing off some of them because you don't want me to
I'm
go.
done.
I got a question about grease trap. Is it, that's a code thing, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I'm pointing at you. You're not the grease trap, he's the grease trap.
Well, usually I sit there.
Yeah.
That's what's.
Well, we
confusing.
added an extra guy to the table,
That's
so
what's
you were off
confused
one.
me.
Yeah, it was
I
muscle
can't do
memory.
change, man.
Yeah, it was muscle memory. I got you.
Anyway, but the code takes care of the grease trap comment, because Harris mentioned that in his letter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
that's up to the LPI after, we don't need to place explicitly where the grease trap goes, but we'll have it all taken care of.
Okay.
We do show it on the utility plan in front of the fast casual restaurant.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's on the site plan, utility plan.
If you want me to go next, I will, but, you know, could be painful.
Anybody got a couple of questions?
Go for it.
Anything, Mike?
Nope, I'm good.
Mark?
Nope.
Matt?
Nothing additional.
Okay. Get ready.
Be kind.
I will say that this building is quite lovely, and I think it would be a great asset to the community. It's a very tight space, trying to get a lot into a very small space, and that is where the issues seem to be generated, right, so far. So, one of the questions I had, you were saying that they did the site distances based on 3-foot elevation standing there. I read in section 10 that they actually didn't go to the site. What I read said that they did it off of Google, like Google Earth satellite imagery.
I know that we had a person go down there. I don't know if they designated the distance from the aerial maps and the foliage, but I know that we had someone go down and look. And if not, we will have
That
someone.
was the Sewell.
Yeah, Sewell did not. We had a person
You
with
did.
WBRC. We're not traffic engineers, but we know how to stand back 10 feet and look at the.
Okay,
at
because
the-
they didn't, so
Yeah.
it wasn't part
Right,
of their
that's
plan,
right.
because they specifically said they did
Yeah.
not make a site visit. They did it based on just imagery.
Right. And if we need one of our folks to certify that, we can do that.
Okay, that would be helpful. Okay, the mention of the hydrant, and is that something that you as the developer are going to be responsible for, payment and addition of? Because there was some verbiage that it needs to be added, but I didn't see that it was part of
So we do show a proposed hydrant as part of our utility plan, as part of the project
So
development.
that's
It's
yours
not-
to
It's
do.
not in the, it's not on the property, so it's in the city right-of-way.
But is that something that you guys will be
We are
installing and
proposing
paying
as part of
for?
our application, yes.
Okay.
Now, I would presume that it's not a private hydrant, that it would then be taken over by the city, and we don't pay a hydrant rental on it, because it's now benefiting another 500 feet of the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
the city will maintain it afterwards.
There was, I saw the list of abutters and whatnot, and I had a question about I didn't see the railroad listed as an abutter on the list, or it's under some different name. What are the setback requirements from a railroad?
We treat it as a rear lot.
Have you discussed that with the
So
railroad?
this rail is this now down east? Is in
It
charge?
says
It's a
Maine.
state of Maine.
Maine Central, it was listed
I mean,
on,
the state of Maine still owns the rail line.
State of Maine controls the corridor. It's my understanding that the scenic rail has the rights to run an excursion rail on it,
Yes.
and it's not going to be ripped up for rail trail, if you will, in this location. And we're honoring the rear setback. There is no different setback for
Mike,
the
the
rail.
reason I asked the question is because I've seen in other communities where rear setbacks were utilized for next to a rail bed, and then suddenly the railroad company said, well, wait a minute, you didn't ask us. I didn't see anything in the paperwork that showed that they were specifically asked if they had setbacks, because I know of a particular building where it was built according to setbacks in another community, and the railroad company came in and halted the construction because they actually have quite a large setback requirement for safety.
Yeah, having dealt with crossing beneath the rail for the Hollywood Casino that we designed, there are restrictions in the right-of-way of the rail, but not additional setback away from the rail,
Is-
except at a crossing, which is usually city jurisdiction in the crossing location. And it's usually an over-under, not a horizontal.
So do you have something from the owner of the rail line that, because you notified all the other property owners, but did you notify and get something, a release from the rail company that they agree that the 5-foot setback is enough? Because you certainly don't want to get in a situation where you move forward and then get the notice of, cease and desist because we have an issue. So
Yeah,
I just
I-
want to make sure that that gets addressed.
We will address that with a response, yes.
Okay. Then, let's see. I had a question about, I've got a million questions, but I had a question about, in reading section 903, I guess, Robert, that was a question kind of for you. I don't know if I misread whatever, but it was that we might waive the requirement for them to have performance bonds because it's sort of a smaller of the projects. Is that the case or not the case, or in that checkoff list? I couldn't read like you're writing too good, so.
No, it was my checkoff.
Okay, so is that gonna be like, this is gonna be, they're gonna have, we're gonna have inspectors that are gonna inspect the project during construction, make construction after construction, all of that, or not? I couldn't figure that out.
Oh, yeah, we would be there all the way along, every step of the way from, starting with footings in the ground.
Right.
We'll be there
Well,
doing all.
for construction, yes, but I'm talking about like road construction to make sure that all that, because I just noticed a thing in there that says that they probably wouldn't have to put up the bonding for that, for like paying to have engineers from our side looking.
Oh, generally, that's all, they have somebody that, like an engineer will sign off that the parking lot was done to a standard.
Their engineer,
Yes.
okay, that's what I just want to
And
make sure that,
As long as somebody.
you're going to
puts
be
this-
looking for
An engineer.
signed off
stamp, yeah.
approvals given by them, we're not going to be involved in that end of it.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer, so I can't
Right.
make that determination.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying that we wouldn't hire, it says we
No.
can hire people if we need
No,
to.
we don't usually do
Okay.
that for these projects. We take their engineers.
Oh, that was, 904, it says, okay to waive if okay by the planning board. That's what caught my attention, that if we approve it, we can waive the requirement for the bonding. And is that normally the way we do it?
I don't think we've ever required a bond,
Okay,
formal bond.
all right. I was also curious about sidewalks. There are none here, and I know there's not a lot in town, all over the place. There's not a lot of sidewalks. But it does say in an urban core, section 912C, says that they are required unless we waive them. And some of the other areas, you don't have to have them if there's not an adjacent sidewalk to get to it. But my thought is that as we get developments that come along, if we don't start asking for them, then there's never going to be anything to connect to. So there'll never be sidewalks anywhere if we don't implement the minimum requirements that it's supposed to be there for an urban project. It's supposed to have a sidewalk. So I do have some concern that even though this is sort of a little out there and probably nobody's walking to it, as Ellsworth grows and expands, we'll never have sidewalks if we don't start making them occur. So that was a concern of mine, but you don't have room for a sidewalk.
Well, we have them internally, but there are no, you're correct, there are no sidewalks directly in front of us or even nearby in Bangor Road.
And the bridge doesn't have sidewalks,
Yeah, and with the
right?
bridge there, I don't think
They don't want, yeah, they don't have sidewalks on that.
No.
Right.
No.
So it's just a concern that if we always negate it, we'll never get them as we grow.
And we generally have always negated them,
Right.
which is a problem.
Yes, it is. So I don't know if you ever want to start, but I'm all for it if we ever do. And the traffic issues, like we talked about, if you add in, have you added in your traffic thoughts, is this restaurant going to offer delivery? Because that will add traffic stops.
I presume people will be able to, again, I'm not going to presume anything. Tommy, how are you going to work the fast casual? I don't know.
My understanding is that they don't have like, Uber Eats and Lyft over there in Ellsworth. I know they have it in Bangor. Is that correct?
We have DoorDash.
We have
We have
DoorDash.
You have DoorDash? Okay, all right. I haven't thought about that.
And more is being added along those lines as time goes by.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that if your count is at 97, just under 100, and then we add in these extra deliveries, of course, you could say that that's one less person driving there, so maybe there's an offset for that. And then adding in a few more people showing up for this observation tower, we are really skirting that 100 threshold. So, just a little concern. And then in the wintertime, you're covering up several of your parking spaces with your piles of snow, which,
No, they're pushed back behind, in the rear.
no, in the front, you have, up by the right turn only, you show a snow area
Very small snow area.
that covers up like 3 parking spaces in the winter, which lasts from November to May, so.
Is it a true statement?
So that's a concern, and then, actually, your snow storage areas, there's a teeny tiny one next to the dumpster, a teeny tiny one behind the parking for the staff, and a teeny tiny one to the right of that, and then all along the back of the rail bed, and then the front parking places. And with the size of that parking lot,
I suspect-
how did those,
There's a temporary push and then there's a removal. I mean, we've been unfortunate, I'm a snowmobiler, we haven't had great winters with snow lately.
Yep.
Particularly the closer we get to the coast, but as these fill up, they'll have to remove.
okay, so.
If there's a winter where we have excessive snowfall, they'll certainly have to remove. I believe that the one on the lower right is a remnant from prior to the right turn entrance configuration. That doesn't make sense to have it partly on and over there. I've got to see if that needs to go away.
Okay, so let's look at your snow, but if you're doing remove, you're gonna need to, because that's,
Yeah,
that's
that's a
not-
temporary push
probably
and
not
then remove.
realistic.
Yep.
Will there be in the parking, for the parking that is facing 1A Bangor Road?
Mhm.
Are there gonna be curb stops so that people don't try off, hit the gas and jump into the road?
Right now, we show curb stops, but they're not a solid curb line. The runoff is intended to make it between those. You can see the dash lines. That basically is intended to sheet flow.
Okay, and maybe keep the people on the road, set them up, keep them in
I
the
mean,
parking lot?
Yeah, they would, They may bottom out in the ditch that's right next to the parking lot, but your point is taken.
Yeah, as long as they don't end up there. And the lighting diagram, the dumpster area, that's for residences and commercial? Do the residents get to put their trash in your little dumpster?
I presume that's for the entire parcel.
Okay, so just make sure there's adequate lighting. Your site diagram with the lighting just showed, just make sure there's lighting because it's dark quite a bit when people need to go get their trash and put their trash in. Make sure that's a safe environment for them to get to. Let's see. Plantings under snow. Some of your nice plantings are under your little snow areas too, so they're gonna get squished. Site plan storage, so the office on the left of the roof garden, I was thinking about something. So you said that's for office management? Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, and
It's basically a common space. I don't know how Tommy will allocate how it gets used, but it's a separate lockable space that can be used by.
I'm sure management would like to have a place to put that. And then on the tenants for the lower area, there's 2 exterior access storage units in the back of tenant 2. What are those back there? Who are they for? Is that what that is? In the back of the building on tenant 2?
Are you talking the small areas here? The box?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably our sprinkler riser and our electrical room.
okay, utility, sprinkler. Okay.
They have to have direct.
So the
access.
residents don't have access to any kind of like storage areas that they're gonna have to get to or anything?
Yeah, they'll have to accommodate that in whatever they
In-
do to fit out their space, right?
Let's see.
Yeah, this is not, this doesn't show any tenant fit out. It's basically a white box that you would typically see on a retail fit out. We show the bathroom core and utility, and then anything they do within that would be on their own if they put any partitions or walls or things.
Okay, so I think that was, yeah, so I'm concerned with, the additional vehicles with some of the potential generators that are a little higher than we would anticipate because you've added in the thought process of having delivery and having people access that observation tower. And I agree fully with the one exit route. You're gonna have people that are just gonna get so frustrated. Traffic is a real issue, and they're gonna jump out into the lane because out of frustration, and there was another thing about traffic. One of the things I read was that the traffic study that was done says that, yes, this is a high-impact area with very close proximity to a lot of traffic issues. And in their conversation, it says that the DOT and the city of Ellsworth should install a light in the area, in that general area. And it sort of just said that we need to do that. It needs to be done. Okay,
It's up to Maine DOT.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's under Maine DOT jurisdiction. There's been lots of conversations over the years about that, and it's up to Maine DOT to do it.
Right, but
And
in the
they've said no.
meantime, we're just still adding more fuel to the fire.
This may push them over
It might
the.
tip it.
Yeah, this might take
this
them.
may
Nice.
force it.
Well,
It'd be
actually,
nice.
with such a high percentage of pass-by, it doesn't
Yeah,
add
it's
much
gonna-
to the intersections upstream and downstream. But any new trips add.
Right.
And onesie-twosie quickly becomes 10 and 20 and whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm not
Well,
I'm not an expert on traffic by any means, but I would assume the latest models would actually, I actually can't assume, but I would hope that the latest models would actually include DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that.
No way.
You don't think so?
Not yet, no. Because all those models are based on data that is submitted by people who want to submit it, okay? And so what happens is a lot of the data, so for example, all the pass-by data is like 20 years old.
And to Lisa's point, it could offset by someone not going from their home to that place to
It's
get it.
conceivable,
Yeah.
or it's just as easy that, they're sending up people instead of, it's like a new trip. Like,
DoorDash
I
may
wouldn't
do-
go there otherwise.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use DoorDash.
I mean, it could run both ways. It could be,
Right.
somebody says, well, I'll let DoorDash go, or there may be 10 DoorDash orders, whereas instead of just one person driving there, so it's kind of.
I know the DOT is putting up a blinking light, North Street and Shore Road. I know it's not a traffic light, but it is a blinking light. So that is, we're getting there, with that. But, yeah, all we can do is keep requesting and documenting, that.
Yeah, the state basically said that, you know, if Ellsworth wants to pay for a light there, that's their prerogative.
And even then, I mean, I don't know what they, they'd still have to approve it.
Oh, sure.
Right, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and what happens with the North Street intersection is it has to accommodate the railroad thing in there as well, which makes it a really complex light.
Yeah,
I mean, you think like, oh, this is simple, right?
right.
You know, but it's unfortunately not. Now, the one down that road, whatever that other state route is, that's a lot easier intersection to take care of.
Yeah, and then you have
But we're not
like
gonna do
Whittam
that.
Road and Christian Ridge, they're offset, so you need two, and that doesn't work either, so it's just, and aren't they still doing aren't they doing this big traffic study of 1A to try to see what kind of improvements?
Yeah, so they have been doing a series of safety studies on 1A. The most recent was the Wincompaw change they made. I have reached out to DOT in the past couple weeks asking for an update on that and to be able to have some collaboration on that effort. I think it's still under data collection technically. As soon as I find out, I'll report back on what the status is. But they are doing a safety analysis of 1A.
Right, and the problem is, we want business, we want residences, we want growth. But the DOT and the state is kind of hamstringing us to be able to keep doing that safely. That's a problem. Right.
So, question for you, on your tenant space on the first floor, are those square footages cast in stone? Or if a tenant comes in, let's say tenant one comes in and says, I'd like to have space number 2 also, is that gonna be something that will be allowed?
They could lease both spaces.
Okay, so basically, they're gonna be building out their own space,
Correct.
okay,
One thing we can't do is allow the fast casual to go larger than it is. That
Correct.
would cause significant potential for, traffic-related improvements that would jeopardize the project.
okay. So with that being said, they're gonna be building out, are you gonna allow outside refrigeration if they need it, or is it gonna have to be within the tenant space?
With only, I believe, let me go back here. I don't know if we have a lot of room for exterior. That is the most cost-effective.
Are these things gonna be like Airbnb things, reality?
No, I'm talking about the commercial.
No, I know, that was just an extra add-on,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, it would be pretty tough to get exterior refrigeration. The only place that it would impede their outdoor patio space for the fast casual, and I don't think they want to do that.
Okay.
So are you asking whether or not these walls could be taken out, the interior walls?
Well, they don't necessarily have to be taken out, they could be a passageway between them or whatever, which is fine.
Doors and stuff?
My concern is that they're gonna allow anything exterior of the building, like
Right, yeah.
exterior refrigeration or exterior storage or things
Okay.
like that out there. And there isn't really much room out there to do that.
With the observation tower, so they're gonna be standing like, and they'll be able to see out over this thing. What kind of risk is there with, they're waving at the highway and people, like they're looking up at the people in the observation tower?
That is such a nuanced question.
Yeah, that's,
Good luck with
Maybe it'll
that.
help them slow down.
yeah, yeah, like, maybe it'd be better if not a lot of them is sticking up, so, the traffic doesn't, get curious and look up, so, interesting.
Well, as it is now, they'll just come whizzing by and they won't see the observation deck anymore.
No, they won't.
But under the speed limit, I'm sure.
I'm sure the PD could stand on the observation tower and they'd all go to the
There you
speed
go.
limit.
Yeah.
And they'd get an
What
ice
does that do
cream
with the
too.
cosine air? Yeah, I mean, but, the cosine air is like this, what about like that? I don't know. Seems like it would be.
Anything else, Lisa?
Thank you.
Anything? Open the public hearing. If there's anybody here, has any questions or comments?
Doesn't look like there's anybody here.
Close the public hearing. Mr. Tran, do you have any other comments you'd like to add?
No, just wanted to thank you, everyone, for making time and allowing us to present this plaza. This really does mean a lot to me and my family. I'm not like a big developer or anything like that. Just a small guy just trying to build something and ultimately keep this for my family and like I said, to contribute to Ellsworth and to its growth. So look forward to working with the city and hopefully it's not just this one and many more together, yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad for the explanation, because I was kind of curious about how someone who I think went to Rutgers and was in the metropolitan New York area for a while and moved to Texas happened to decide to build something in Ellsworth. So thank you for the explanation, and hopefully this is a success and you build something else.
Yes, very much looking forward to that.
Any other comments from staff? Would you like to make a motion?
Sure, make a motion that the preliminary plan review be accepted as complete, major use site development and a new or existing subdivision entitled Nova Plaza for applicant / owner J.C. Cowboys Realty LLC.
I'll second it.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tran.
Thank you.
John, would you consider taking staff updates and comments before executive session so we don't have any business when we come out of
I
executive?
thought that was,
Okay.
I thought that was a better idea. Okay, so we'll go to item number 4 first, for staff comments.
Can we go first? So a couple things. The first is we have the opportunity to do a group planning board training. If everyone is amenable to that, we definitely need.
Hold on a second. Mr. Tran, you don't have to listen to this. I mean, this is gonna probably bore you. Feel free to
Yeah.
hit
Thank you so much.
Hit the
exit
everyone.
button.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much.
I'm waiting for that ice cream.
It's coming.
Check is in the mail.
Okay,
Alright.
try it again.
So if you're all open to it, I'd love everyone to attend this group planning board training that the state does. It's only the 3 new members really have to do it, but I think it would be a good idea for everyone to join as a group session, just to make sure we're all on the same page and get a refresher.
Is that Maine municipal or is that something separate?
I believe it's
Maine municipal.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
When is that?
We need to set a date for it.
So it's hosted, it's has been in person in the past and it's virtual, but we can actually, because we are elite members or something, we can get the training and have it for our group. So we would collectively come up with a date to have it.
Oh, I see.
And would you anticipate extending an invitation to other planning boards? I mean, if Maine Municipal can be here, I mean, in the past, they've done, group sessions. I attended once up to Lucerne Inn, and there were,
Sure.
people from
I
all
mean,
over the
we could
county,
certainly-
Gloucester County.
We can see what the options are.
Yeah,
Whether it is I mean, I'm not sure if it will be in person or virtual, or sometimes they're pre-recorded. The ones that we've done in the past have been virtual, but we can see what the options are for that.
Because I know there's an option to like purchase the pre-recording and then we can all just watch it at the same time.
I'd rather have a live person so you can ask questions.
Well, certainly the Maine municipal one is live, or has been live.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, they
But
do.
I think the idea of inviting other locals to play along would be great, because they really can't afford to send people off to wherever. And it might also extend something to the Hancock County Regional Planning people as well.
We'll look into that and I'll send out an
I'm
email.
sorry, I said regional planning, that's wrong. Hancock County Planning Commission.
They're a regional planner. And then the only thing I really have, next planning board meeting in September, Charlie will be coming to present an update on the courthouse. That will be coming to planning board most likely in October. But he'll be coming next month to kind of give you a
Heads up.
update and kind of an overview of the project before you
Just
to
to
jump
make
in.
time.
So in September, it looks like it's gonna be pretty full, so be prepared.
The only update I have is we have kind of pivoted on the planning position. We had two really great final candidates for our Parks and Rec position. I think there were like 100 and something candidates for that position. We narrowed it down to these two. We did not want to lose two. So we've hired Roddy Erlenbach for the Parks and Rec position. He has a lot of strong background, local guy. He's worked in Carabasset for a long time, and he's coming back to the area. So he's working in the Parks and Rec. And Danielle Giff, we extended the position of Director of Planning and Urban Development to her, and she accepted. So we will be hiring her as the Director of Planning and Urban Development. We changed the position a little bit. She's gonna work on a lot of project management. She has a strong grants background, very strong grants background, and a strong Arbor background, so she'll probably be the staff person to the Arbor Commission. Brittany will continue to be the staff person to the Planning Board. We're elevating Brittany's position to planner, and we'll backfill that with some current staff to help with assisting both of them on minutes and things like that.
So you're stuck with me.
So I can send along Danielle's resume. She has accepted. She's tentatively starting September 15th, but I can send that along to you all for your review.
So what's Danielle's last name?
GIF.
Gift.
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 Gift, like present.
She's
She
a
is
gift to us.
Yeah, she is a gift.
Is she
Tom-
local?
Thank you so much.
She is not local, but she worked with a counselor for a long time in New York City in the Parks and Rec department there, and she purchased land on Branch Lake long before she came up here and visited and loved it, and purchased land on Branch Lake a while ago, and so she's always been her goal to retire up here, get up here, and it just happened a lot sooner than she thought. So she's very excited about that.
Cool. What happened to the, what is it, the Village Partnership Initiative?
So the Village Partnership Initiative is still in full swing. They have been doing a series of, they being Sewell is the consultant that was hired. We had a site visit about 6-8 weeks ago with DOT and Sewell and their subconsultant Viewshed. They came down and we walked the entire project limits. They went back to the drawing board and have done data collection, traffic counts. We are tentatively looking at having our first public meeting on that in September, towards the end of September. And we're going to be initiating probably bi-weekly to, a couple times, maybe once a month meetings of the project team to get regular updates. So there'll be a lot more going on with that and more updates to come.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
I'll be coming next month with the, hopefully our completed draft of the cannabis ordinance for the adult use cannabis. We had the session, when was it? What's that? Week ago? It feels like it's been a long time, a lot longer than that. But, we're gonna try to have that at least pretty close to done by next week, and then have it available.
It's gonna go back to the council at their September workshop,
Yep.
which would be the Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, because the first Monday is Labor Day, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're really stacking it up for next month.
Yes. Well,
Unfortunately, we got a
It's
deadline
gonna be a
that,
long one.
we got a deadline on that one, they want it done by September, so we're gonna try to get it done by September.
Okay, kind of along that line, though, considering the new change in hours at City Hall, after the packets are ready, you're cutting out one day available to the planning board to pick them up. Keep that in mind, because if you're not gonna be here Friday, if, depending on exactly when they're ready, you know, that's one, you know, I always like to get them before the weekend.
Definitely.
I'll be having Friday morning office hours and inspections, so if you wanna get in, I can probably let you in.
Okay. I just want to make sure I can get them before the
We,
weekend.
we can get them to you.
Yeah.
And he would like to have them in a book, too.
Yes,
We'll
binder
get it
for
to you in
next
binder,
time.
yeah.
That's my bad.
I think WBRC has gotten that word.
But that's all I've got.
Okay. And so technically, we want to adjourn it now and then go into the executive session. There's going to be no decisions made in the executive session, so.
I think we technically have to make a motion to go in an executive session, then come back out to
I
adjourn.
think so.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion, we go into the executive session with no decisions to be made.
Second.
In favor?
Get over for once.